All right, everybody, we're back. Welcome back to a whole new episode of the Don't Know podcast. It's been a while. Right now, currently, it is 5 in the morning, and I'm outside of the gym. I just wanted to do this podcast to kind of remind myself and to remind you guys like what my goal was for the whole podcast and for this year. And if you guys don't remember, like a couple episodes ago, I said that this was like towards the beginning of the year, towards like New Year's, but I said that my goal this year was just to try in a way that I've never tried before, and I recommend you guys to do the same. And I mean it by like try in a way that you never thought possible, like I know a lot of us feel down this year. Like I think right now is when it's starting to get pretty tough, everything. The days are changing, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Like now you have to adjust to seeing light a little more. And anyways, my point was that this whole year, this whole 2023, I want to do something different. And what I mean by something different is like, I'm sure you guys are the same, but honestly, like right now, if I'm gonna be like completely vulnerable, and like if I have it before, everything is an open book here, but I don't know, like right now I guess I just feel like lost in a way. I feel like so many people that I know have kind of, for one, lived their lives, and that's okay. Like everybody does, I'm living mine, you're living yours. But it's just tough, like, and I'm sure you guys can relate, like all this loss that we've had in our lives, whether we've lost friends, loved ones, parents, siblings, whatever it may be. And I mean lost not only in like if they passed away or something tragic like that, but I mean like lost in like there used to be such a bond built, and for one reason or another we don't talk to them, or we don't even bother to check on them anymore, honestly. And I just think that it's so crazy that at my age of 21, like I already have friends and people that I've known that have passed away. And then there's people that still live that I don't even know anything about that I miss, And it's so crazy. Like that's kind of my point of what I was getting to, is like all this hurt that we've experienced, I'm sure you have as well, like all this agony and pain, like all for what? Like if you really think about it, and if you were to sum up your life, like if you were to take everything you've had and just think about it, all the experiences you've gone through and all the hardships you've gone through, like I believe that anybody who's gone through anything difficult deserves rewards beyond your imagination. But the thing is, and I'm realizing that now, is the only way to get there is, it depends on how much shit you're willing to take, honestly. Because although you may have had such like a struggling a struggling childhood, a struggling marriage, whatever it might be, a struggling relationship, like that pain and that suffering that you've dealt with, like you deserve to be happy after that. Not a lot of people have survived what you've gone through. There's probably countless others who have gone through the exact same thing, and one way or another they've gone through it just as well as you have. And that's kind of my point of today's podcast was I wanted to ask you guys like just a serious question. And hold on, let me just turn off the flashing. It's kind of distracting. Hold on. I have a little remote here to control some of my lights. I have two actually, if you guys were interested in my lights. We'll just put a pin on that. But for now, look, so these are my lights that I've put in my car. I'm pretty proud of them. This light that I have in the middle is the one that is like fits the whole middle part. And I have some lights up front here, the ones that are spinning around. Those ones right here, the ones that are spinning around. Those ones are up front, and then you guys can't tell. One day I'll show you, or they'll come up in the video, I guess. But I have some in the back. Regardless, my point was that all this pain and suffering for you, like, you deserve to be happy. We've all had that breakup. We've all had that loss. We've all had that heartbreak. We've all had that whatever hurtful thing. We've all experienced it. We've all felt this like pain and agony inside of us. So now my point is, why not this year? You know, why not this year start the company that you've always wanted to? Why not this year start the podcast you've always wanted to? Why not this year start the school, the class, whatever? Why not this year? I think time and time again we wait and we put it off in hopes that we'll be better next year, or like next year we'll be more prepared, or maybe in the month we'll be more prepared, whatever it might be. But I think if you go through life thinking like that, and this is like through experience that I'm telling you this, because these are the things that I'm starting to realize, like, as my life goes on, and I'm like 21, so I'm trying to put it out here because not only do I want to see like myself and this thing grow, but I like all these messages I get about how something clicked and how something reminded you of this that I've said, or whatever it might be. Like, that's literally like gold to me. Like, all you guys that actually listen to this, like, I would have never thought. And my point is that along with everybody, the reason I put these out is because I want us mostly to understand that we're in this together, and that I'm really trying to like just put it all out here. Because like I told you guys, like, honestly, I'm just as like tough as it is to say, I'm kind of just lost, like, right now, and at this point in my life. Like, I'll put these out and then I'll go to the gym and I'll go to work, like, that's all fine and stuff, but like, other than that, like, there's those days, you know, you get where it feels like everything's crumbling and you feel like everything, and lately it's been more of those days, you know. But like I said like I told you guys, my vision is bigger than all these fucking aches and pains, you know, either mentally or physically. I think that in order for us, like I said, in order for you and I to do anything we want, it costs us so much more suffering than we'll know, you know. And most of the time we have to go through that alone, and that's the hard part. Like, right now, like, who's here, you know? Like I said, it's 5 in the morning, 5:15 almost in the morning, and sometimes on the weekends, or sometimes every seat in here is full. When I have my kid in here or whatever it might be, I'm driving around my mom, sometimes every seat in here is full. But not at 5 a.m. when I just got out of work and I'm coming here to the gym, those are the days that it's not full. These days are the days that are so mentally draining. And I understand, like, I've been working 10 hours a day every day since I started this job, and I kind of wanted to talk about the things I've seen with so many jobs I've had. I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I've had a couple jobs, and honestly, and this is coming from my 21-year-old self, I don't know what I'll think when I'm like that's why I put these out here, to see how my mind changes and evolves. But honestly, like, I look around at these people that have been at jobs like 30, 40 years, or, you know, and are coming close to retirement. Most of them look absolutely beat. I think I've seen like 2 or 3 people like legit retire, like from so many jobs I've had and like random places I've been. Like, I think I've seen like 2 or 3, like, I've had like 2 or 3 retirement parties, and it's been like my first day, and I'm just there like, well, congrats, Bob, you know. But my point is that, like, you look at these men and women faces. I think I saw 2 dudes and 1 girl, well, woman, well, lady, I don't know, old man, 2 old men and 1 old lady. And I gotta tell you guys, like, you see it in their faces, and I've seen it in all the jobs I've been to. You just see like that tired, like, you know, you just see that zombie look in their face, like they're dreading life, and they're just kind of there. They're just kind of existing. And at some point, I believe that I was like that, especially like around the time where my son's mom left, and I just completely lost myself. That's when I became my most zombie-like state. That's when everything was just, I gotta get in the higher position, higher job, higher pay, higher whatever. And if you go through life seeking, like, I'm not saying getting promoted is bad. What I'm saying is getting stuck in a job that you don't like for years and years, just because you'll get a better pay, or just because the benefits are good. Like, no matter how good the pay is and how good the benefits are, you're still getting beat by that job every day. Every day it's a constant fucking pounding, even if it's not physical. Even because I've been in jobs that aren't physical or even that demanding physically, but it's mentally, man. That's what drains you. Every job is designed to do this, is just make you go into like a fugue state. And this is what I've seen. For one, it makes you go into like I said, like just robot-like state, working. You're just there doing the same movement over and over, and you have hip problems, you have shoulder problems, and what do? You try to go to insurance, they don't let you because you haven't paid your deductible yet, and blah blah blah. And it's like, as fun as that is and all, like, at some point I think you just have to tell yourself, like, how much more of this bullshit am I willing to take? How much more of these dreadful nights, of these sleepless nights, of these fucking crying nights can I take anymore, you know? How many of these more depressing nights can I take before I finally, you know, want to take charge for myself? And honestly, it isn't until you've gotten to that point where you realize how risky it all is and how much it doesn't matter, in a good way. Because if you're not gonna risk it all, if you're not gonna risk it all, what's the point of even living, you know? Because I've been to that point, that breaking point where you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna off myself and whatever happens happens, you know? I've been to that point. And honestly, as hurt as I am right now, like physically, mentally, because like I'm exhausted right now. I've been going strong for 3 months, everyday gym, everyday work, for the most part. Yeah, I've had a day off in here, you know, on the weekends. Like life happens, I gotta take care of my kid, but this is just life. Like life happens. But I'm trying to commit to you guys that I want to change. And I mean, I don't know, I can't really tell. I've been like growing out my hair, which is not, I feel like I don't deserve a haircut yet, so when I get that done, you guys will see the difference. But yeah, I've really been trying to come here every day, and like I said, I'm physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. And I guess if you're curious anyway, I've always asked myself every day, like, why, like, what's the point? And the point is, to me, or why even try anyway? It's like, don't you think you owe it to yourself to at least want to be better? I understand that you've been hurt. I understand that you've been abused. You've been, you know, tortured, tormented your whole childhood. Here's the thing. We can't change the past as much as we can change our future. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we don't get to choose our parents, right? Our parents don't get to choose us. You know, you can't go through life with that grief and anger inside you that you didn't let go as a child, you know? Because as much as you want to like change it and you want to fucking beat your chest about it, if you think about it, it's like, why not choose growth in a way? Because let's say you've got abused and you've got tormented and you're bullied at school and whatnot, and your whole life you lived angry at these people, you know, upset. Those people have moved on already. Those people have, yeah, they hurt you and dealt with it in their own way. Like maybe you never got closure or anything, but those people have moved on. And that's a thing that I've noticed. Once somebody does you dirty and either you don't confront it or they don't to you, like nothing gets resolved, that just creates this kind of like hatred in this person, you know, like a new kind of how do you say, a new kind of emotion in a way, that I have to react this way because of that, you know? So let's say I'm a kid and I'm getting bullied. That kid, me, because I'm getting bullied, is most likely to do the bullying. And this is what, like, I don't understand, which is like, if you've already been hurt and you've already been, you know, life has dealt you a bad hand, like, why not fucking double down on life and be like, fuck you, you know what? It's gonna hurt and it's gonna suck, but you know what? So is staying at the bottom. That shit is ass, you know? Being the fucking laughing stock of everybody else, that shit is fucking tough. I think everybody knows what that feels like to some degree. Maybe some more than others, but my point is, you don't want to be that person who couldn't let go, you know? If you want serious growth in your job, in the workplace, in just bettering yourself, if you want true growth, you got to be willing to let go of shit that you buried in here. That shit you don't want to face, those difficult decisions that you don't want to make. If you want growth, those are the things that have to change. Because like with anything, like, I'll be honest, like, there'll be times where I do tell myself, like, I get angry with myself that I can't, like, get out of bed to do these, like, something so simple. And I'm telling you guys, like, this is because I'm exhausted physically and mentally, and I'm just drained. But today I guess I mustered up the courage to do these. But seriously, like, I want to make this podcast, and I want to make everybody around me grow, because I've seen what fucking being a bad friend, I've seen what fucking, through all these jobs that I've had, so many people have told me stories, good and bad. And so many people have done so many things, so many shitty things to, like, good, genuine people. I've heard both stories. So I've heard the story where they got fucked over, and I've heard the story of the person who did the fucking over. I've heard them all, because I think through this podcast, it has helped me to, like, become more vocal and maybe a little bit more helpful, insightful in a way. So I have, like, genuine talks with mostly everybody that I hang around with, because here's the thing, guys. And I knew this at, like, an early age, really early on in high school. Like, not everybody's your friend. Seriously, like, not everybody's gonna fucking look out for you. And this is, like, obvious if you didn't know. But more than that, it's like, so many people want to be better than you, but not in a good way. What I mean by that is they're competing with you. And when you're competing with someone, as strong as that might make you and that might want to push you, the whole point of living, and the whole point of, like, bettering yourself is not beating the next person. That's a thing that I've noticed. Because let's just bring it back to the jobs that I've had. In so many jobs that I've had, I seen, like, managers who just care about work, and I've seen managers who care about the workers. And let me tell you the difference that I've seen. The manager who cares about the work will have productive workers, but you know what they won't have? They won't have that person who can come in a moment's notice just because, you know, they're never gonna have that. They're never gonna have that exceptional person that just fucking wants to be every bar of the workplace as possible in a good way. They don't have any kind of, like, improvements safety wise, or even, like, building wise. Like, they don't even see any kind of growth inside the company, because all they're caring about is numbers. And what I've seen about that in jobs is when they tend to care about numbers, is everybody's brain kind of just shuts off. Because when you start worrying about numbers and you have workers, obviously you're always going to want more numbers, and the workers aren't always going to want to work, good or bad. Now, on the opposite side of that, the managers who cared about the workers, sure, they will have maybe not as good as numbers as fucking people that are getting fucking whipped in the back, not literally, but, like, getting bitched at every day because of how they're not meeting numbers, and how you didn't meet this quota, and we had to do this, and you did this wrong, we had so many errors. Like, managers who just care about work, that's all it's gonna stay at, just work. So obviously you're gonna have shitty workers, and obviously they're not gonna want to work when they're being overworked. But anyways, on the opposite side of that is the the managers and companies who care about their workers, I noticed that they tend to, if they need somebody on, let's just say they need somebody to work a weekend and that never happens, there's that trust and enough bond to be like, well, fuck it. If everybody's doing it, then I'll do it. You know? It's just little things like that that I've noticed that jobs don't really do so well, I guess. A lot of companies are worried about numbers, and I guess that's good and all because the economy's going to shit. So if you can make your money anyway, like, you should. But really, like, I think after the pandemic, it showed everybody how much, or just, yeah, how much everybody's seen as a number now. So many people are like stuck in the rat race, you know. So many people, all I see everywhere when I go through these jobs are honestly just dead-eyed NPC zombies. And I'm not talking about like you specifically, but come on, we all know, like, there's people at our jobs that are just dead-eyed, going through job every day just because that's all they have to do. All they want to do is put in their 40 hours, and that's good. And that's good. Like, there's some degree to success in being able to say, I completed a hard day's work, and I guess if this is the job for you, like, don't disregard this message. Like, what I'm talking about is bullshit. But most of the time when you're in a job that you don't like, it's just because you're scared of, for one, either finding somewhere else that you might like better, or two, just trying something else that you might like better. You know, you might not be able to make money in things now, but who knows, maybe in 5, 10, 15 years, regardless of how long it takes, that's how long it's gonna take, you know? You can't rush the process. Like, look, these, I don't, you know, this podcast has never been about the big show. I want to show you guys everything. I'm vulnerable to you guys. I want to show you guys the beatdowns I've taken. I want to show you guys the fucking insults that I've taken. I want to show you guys everything because I want you guys to learn. And I saw podcasting as a way to just reach out there because I feel like this is kind of my calling, my kind of my forte. I think I have a way of talking, and I guess it helps being able to be bilingual and, you know, see things in a different perspective and get it out there. Because I don't know if you guys knew this, but like, I've done a video on this before, but when I was in like junior high school, I started doing a whole bunch of live videos, which were essentially these. And like, looking back from that to now is like, this is the only thing that has stayed consistent, or not consistent, because, you know, there's been long times where I haven't posted anything, but this has been the thing that has stuck around the most. And no matter if I only posted one video, you know, it's still been here. So to give up on something that I've tried to do, you know, it just doesn't seem fair. Like, why are you gonna give up on something that means so much to you? Is that how little you value yourself? Because essentially that's what quitting is, no? Quitting is essentially your mind, because it's not your body. If it was your body, you can literally see like marathon runners, they're fucking shutting down at the finish line, and they're still wanting to go because their mind is tougher than their body. You gotta understand that. And this is what going to the gym late at night has showed me, is like, you know, going to the gym itself is not the hard part. Lifting weights, is not the hard part. You know what the hard part is? Driving to the gym. Not stopping to get that burger along the way. Not stopping to hang out with some friends along the way. I'll put it off maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. It's like, why? If you told yourself you're going to go to the gym, it's like, seriously, like, who else are you going to blame it on if you're not going to the gym, or if you're not studying, or if you're not, you know, whatever it may be. If you're having trouble like in school, and I wish somebody told me this when I was in school, but this is what I've learned. Literally, if you're having difficulty studying, study more. Especially in school. We had so much time. If I could, like, I wish I could get all my like old classmates and just say what's up on this podcast. But like, you know, we had so much time and so little to do with it, you know? And it's like, I get it. I remember being in high school, you know, and I remember being so, I don't know. Everything was just different, I guess. But seriously, if I could give you guys some advice, like literally just study more. I get it that you guys are tired from school, because I get it. It's physically and mentally draining. And it's mentally draining. You know why? Because they're training you to become the robotic fucking zombie dead-eyed bitch of every company that you go work at. And this isn't me talking shit on any school. This isn't me talking shit on any... But this is what I've seen through jobs that I've had. I see people who have gone to fucking prestige schools. I don't know what you call them. They go to fucking universities and shit. Big-ass buildings. They go to big-ass buildings that teach them stuff. But you know, something, I've been seeing a lot of stuff online about how if you go to a teacher who teaches business, a professor who teaches business, and you ask them what business they've opened, a lot of them have never opened one. You go to a music teacher, you ask them what album they've released, a lot of them haven't done one. And unless you're trying to be something like a doctor, something you need training for, welding, whatever it may be, HVAC, like something you actually need training for and are doing with your hands, something that you need your brain for. But something that you need your brain for, that's literally the only reason you should be going to school, I think. Because unless you're trying to be something like that, like these people going into, who get, I don't know, these crazy ass majors that, like in accounting, really. I get it, you like numbers and this might teach you something, but accounting, like, really. I don't understand why you're gonna waste 4 years of your life and get in so much debt for a degree that for most successful businessmen won't even look at you for that. Like most, I don't remember, there's a high percentage of men or millionaires who are like, I think it's 80%, something like that or higher, that came from nothing. You think of how many millionaires there are now. There's so many. And I think that if you're not going to be the person in your family to be like, when is enough enough? Then it's just going to be another hard year for you, you know? Something's got to give in you. Something's got to burn inside your soul with a passion that, like, I need to get the fuck out of this situation. Because as shitty as it might feel, Yeah, when you're a kid, you don't have a choice. But when you get older, like 18 plus, most of the decisions that you've made up to that point, like, they've led you to that moment. So if you're feeling depressed, my advice would be, depending on the situation, because I've been through it all, I've dealt with depression for a long time. And I guess I haven't really talked about it on here. But friend, I guess in certain situations, if you're sad about a breakup, sad about you don't talk to this person anymore, let's just say you ended it off badly, and this is what's causing you to be depressed, honestly, the best advice I could give to you is forgive yourself for not being more wise as to how to confront the situation. Don't look at it as, wow, I should have done this different. Look at it as, because of that, it taught me. And another thing I would say is, when you look back and you want to send that message and you want to, say that last thing, and you want to make that last attempt, honestly, just remember the good stuff. Try not to think of the bad stuff. But like I said, you have to forgive yourself, because if you don't forgive yourself, you'll look too much into the good stuff and not remember the bad stuff. The reason you're looking into the good stuff is in the bad place. The reason you're looking for the good stuff in the first place is because you no longer want that negative energy. But if you still haven't forgave yourself, you're gonna look for light in something that's not even there, And I'm not saying don't try. That's not what I'm saying at all. This podcast is all about trying. I'm trying to do this podcast. But no, I'm not saying don't try, obviously. But if you've given so many attempts and you see that they're not for you anymore, or maybe you're having doubts like, should I message this person? Honestly, my advice would be don't. Because time goes forward, not backward. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Sorry, I had it mixed up. But literally, are you going to go back to something that hurts you, as good as it is or not? And yeah, of course, sometimes it works out. But you know why it works out sometimes? Because both people have forgave themselves in that situation, have looked at it as an opportunity to grow, not as an opportunity to like hold remorse and guilt and anger. So if you're feeling depressed because of that, I would say it's okay. If I could go back and talk to my depressed self during that one time, I don't know. I think it would be so weird. Because now I want to be so driven, I want to be somebody that my son can look up to and be like, damn, my dad actually did it. My dad actually stayed true to his word and didn't look back. So, like I've said, I've been in many situations where, I would say it was the word depressed. But here's the thing, though. When you're in that situation, at least for me, and I feel like a lot of us do this, but when you're in that situation of feeling depressed, it's not necessarily that you feel shitty. It's just you're unhappy with the way things are. So let's switch it up here. Let's say you're getting bullied. And that has been the reason that you're depressed. I understand it's tough. Personally, I don't think anybody really bullied me in school. Like, if they did, I always took it as a joke. Like, nothing has ever, like, impacted me like that. But I hear these stories of kids, like, wanting to kill themselves because other kids are beating on them. And it's like, is that really what we want as a community, as a people? Like, sure, some bullying stems from seeing the dad be abusive, but on the other hand, you also have bullying that stems from other kids bullying. And I think those, if we're having a discussion about toxic masculinity, those are the kids where it stems from. And for the most part, where it leeches off to like everybody else. And my point in that is, when little kids are confronted with something like bullying and they feel like they're in a situation where they can't fight or flight, your natural fight response is to run or stand up to them. And when you don't have either of those options, what else is your brain gonna do? What else is your brain supposed to do? If you feel so weak, obviously your brain's gonna be like, you're weak. You can't even fight back. Like, I get it. Sometimes life kicks our asses and we think we're never gonna get up again. I've been there. You guys have been there. I know you guys have been there. I'm not the only one. But through it all, those kids are the ones that end up being the abusers. Those kids, and not all of them, obviously not all of them, because not every alcoholic parent has alcoholic kids, but these shy kids, the ones that bully because they're getting bullied, those, I believe, are genuine strong men. They're just misguided now. Either because they feel like they can't tell their parents, or they feel like they can't tell a teacher, can't tell anybody. They don't have a friend. Like, those kids are the ones that we can change, and those kids are the ones that schools and parents need to see and fix it right then and there. Because it's better, like, stopping it at a punch than stopping it at a stab. Because nowadays, like, I think kids are taught to just go with their feelings and just go with impulse. So that's what creates all these, school shooters, abusers, and psychopaths. And unfortunately, as much as we don't want to admit it, most of the time, it stems from the parents, as much as you don't want to admit it. When I look back at, like, things that I dislike now about my past self, and it was like, I followed so many traits of, like, what I thought were, like, attributes of men, because that's, like, all I saw as a kid. Like that what you would call toxic masculinity, like that dude who doesn't say anything, that tough guy who doesn't say anything, like always angry, always upset. When they ask you what's wrong, you say, nothing. Those men are the ones that are truly broken inside. The ones that have to hurt everybody else in order for them to get some kind of satisfaction from it. Those men are the ones that I feel bad for, truly. Because if you talk to them, because I've talked to many of these, I have so many people that I've talked to that have gone to jail or that have been to jail. And it's like, if you talk to these guys, the guys who are out, the normal ones, you would say, the ones that have learned their lesson and rehabilitated, those are the ones who are at peace and who, no matter how shitty their situation is, like I've talked to this one guy at one of the jobs I worked at, and he was telling me how he went to jail. I think it was like a DUI or something. And he was on probation, but he was like, man, I'm so glad I got out of that, because he was like into like gangs and stuff when he was younger, and like that DUI is the thing that kind of just knocked some sense into him. And when things like that happen to you, and you see, like, for me, hearing that and seeing that, I'm like, okay, this dude is like put together. This dude is trying to make light of a shitty situation. He understands that he fucked up, but he also understands that he has the power to change it. Now, on the other hand, I've also talked to people who can't just seem to deal with the fact that what happened. Because I've talked to like people who've gotten out of jail, and they'll still be mad at their officer, at the person who put them there, and like they'll be mad at the world. But ultimately, it's like, obviously something you did pissed off the law enough for you to be in there. So as much as we want to my point was, with these men, we are starting to see a lot more cowardice, I guess, of not only like physical things and like real life things. Like, men don't step up, I feel like they used to. But we're starting to also see so much like rebelliousness in both ways. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is like, we got to find those kids, those children that are suffering right now, and fix it before it all goes crazy. Because, like it or not, kids are always going to be a part of our lives. And whether you have one or not, like, I'm sure you're going to have a niece. Somewhere along the lines, there's going to be a kid around in your life. Short term or long term, it doesn't matter. And ultimately, those are the people that are going to watch you grow old, hopefully, Those are the people that you're leaving the world to. Those are the people that you are, I guess, not only leaving the world to, but leaving your world to. Your beliefs, your language, your culture. You're instilling in them parts of you. And they are the better part of us. And if we can't protect the innocence of a kid now, it's really going to expose them to things that they're never supposed to see. And it's going to create really big waves of just immature kids, because there's so many parents And if you're this parent, I suggest you stop, because it's very dangerous for them, both physically and mentally. But if you're those parents who, to shut up your kid, you're going to give them a phone, come on. Why? You know, why are you... I understand kids can be rough sometimes. Trust me, you probably were too. Like, we were all kids once, and I think this is what we forget a lot of the times. But anyways, my point is, why are you going to be this parent who neglects their kids? So many kids are going to go through that in our generation, or in my generation. I think they're going to go through a lot of abandonment issues. And all because the parent wants them to be quiet, or they seem to make it easier with a phone in their hands. Because obviously, a kid has infinite amount of things he could see on a screen. Anybody does. Why would he choose to listen to you when he could cry and get a phone? Rules have to be established in order for any kind of successful relationship to occur. And I don't mean strict. This doesn't mean you need to be strict. And what I mean by having rules is, like, maybe don't care about where, like, your kid is going per se, but have that rule of, like, hey, wherever you're going at this time, I need you to check in and tell me where you're at. Like, just having those simple rules instead of being behind them and being like, where are you going, where are you going, where are you going? That changes everything. And it's like these little things we can adjust that I've noticed is, like, as a parent, instead of giving them a phone, start establishing rules. You know, if they're with the family, be like, all right, if you want the phone so goddamn bad, be on your best behavior. Maybe I'll give it to you when we get home. Maybe, if you're good. Because the thing is, kids just need some kind of authority, you know? They're so lost. Imagine, when you were a kid, what did you want? You wanted to know why. Why? The sky's blue, why? You have to eat, why? Why, you know? And that was your favorite, some people's favorite word, why. Children are so lost without us. And we're so lost without them. And if we're gonna create these harmful human beings, what does that say about you? What does that say about, you know, if you were born to an abusive dad, or if you are abused, or were abused, actually, I should say, if you were abused and your dad saw you beat your kid, he would probably think of, like, oh yeah, I taught him good, you know? But what the fuck, you know? You're gonna beat some innocent little kid that doesn't just ask you why? Like, come on. I don't believe in beating your kids, but I do believe discipline is necessary, and I don't know what form that takes in yours. Like, I don't know how you think of it, but some way or another, rules have to be established, and you can't be afraid to parent, you know? Ultimately, at the end of the day, people are going to judge you by your kid. You know, when you get older, what do you talk about? Your kids. You don't talk about you anymore. But, yeah, why do we want to see that innocence go, man? Like I said, kids need us. and we need them. When I look out of like schools and like just even like around my neighborhood, like now you don't really see any more kids outside. I feel like when I was younger, you would see a lot more. And of course, it's winter. So obviously, you don't see it. But I don't know. I think so many people are stuck inside their phone. And their kids are in their phone because their parents allowed them. Now, if you're listening to this and you're a kid who has their phone all the time, what is it? What is your goal? Seriously, like, this isn't me just talking to the kid anymore. Like, this is for everybody. Like, what is your goal? Doesn't matter for this year, doesn't matter long term. Like, what is your goal? Let's just say your goal is to own a mansion, own a house, own whatever you want. You think it's just gonna appear? You know? This is what took me so long to realize through Job and Job Again, is so many people are like, I want to open up a business. And then you'll be like, oh, seriously? Like how far along are you? You know, like what is the next step? And they're still like, well, I have to think about it because like I don't even know what I want to do. Like I don't even like. I think if somebody asks you what your goal is, and you answer it, and then they ask you how you're gonna get there, it shouldn't be that tough to like identify it. The tough part is accepting the fact that you haven't done anything to improve that. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Like, as tired as I am, and like I said, I'm physically drained. I'm still going to go to the gym because I haven't yet. And I want to show you guys that. As beaten as I am, we can all do it. I care for all of you. And no matter where this goes, I just know I have to keep doing it. And as tough as it is, and like I said, as lost as I am right now, and as difficult as life is right now, because trust me, right now it's probably kicking people's asses. It's kicking mine for sure. Like I said, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. And I hope you guys took something away from this. It's good to talk to you guys again. I don't know if there's any transformation other than my hair. I'll cut it soon when I feel like I deserve it. But I appreciate you guys for listening to me as much as you guys do. And hopefully, you know, we learn some things along the way together. We still have a long way to go. It's going to be a long year for those who aren't quitting right now. If you're listening to this and you're not quitting, just know I'm out here with you, bro. You're not alone. You'll never will be alone, because there's always going to be that one person like me who cares enough to just try one more day. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to show you guys what this can become, if it becomes anything, if anything at all. But it's been fun, and I'm going to be putting these out shortly. And I guess I want to leave you guys with something till next time. And it's like, if you could go back, look back at all the hard things you had to endure and last, and think, if I did all that, if I endured all this abuse, if I got bullied, if I beat that, what else can't I do? You know, what else can I do? What else? Bring it, you know, because as tough as life is, You got through it. A lot of people didn't. You know, a lot of people don't get to wake up every day, and a lot of people don't get to. Let me leave you guys with this. If you're feeling sad, like a lot of us are, if you're feeling sad, alone, depressed, sad, angry, furious, if you're feeling any of that, why are you going to allow yourself to not heal? You know, like, what is so difficult about letting go? I understand they hurt you. I understand they broke you. I've been there. You know, there's been so many times where I've been broken by people, by words, by, you know, I don't think we deserve any more punishment. But in order for the punishment to stop, we need to earn what we need. We need to earn what we deserve. And it doesn't come easy. And if you're feeling sad, I guess if you're feeling lost, like I am right now, if you're feeling as lost as I am right now, the only advice I would give to you and I would give to us is, come on. Just one more day. As tough as it is, just show up one more day. And as tough as it is, give it your all. Your all doesn't have to be 100% all the time. Your all could be 40, because that's all you could do, because you're dragging your body through this fucking hell, which is just this fucking rat race over and over. And you know that even though you work out tomorrow and even though you go to work tomorrow, you're still going to be in the same place. That's the toughest part, is accepting that and still trying to succeed and trying to find out something new. That's the hard part. But together, I guess we'll see what comes of all this. And like I said, that advice is just show up. Show up one more day for yourself. I think you owe it to yourself to not only be better, but to improve everybody else around you. You know, the moment I stopped caring about other people, not in a bad way, but like the moment I stopped competing, the moment I stopped comparing myself to others and other people's success, is like, I'm just trying to beat me. At the end of the day, I'm trying to put out one more minute of podcast than I did last year or last month or yesterday. I'm trying to put out one last little effort. And that's what I want you guys to do. Just that one little effort is all it costs to be better for yourself and improve everybody else around you. But it's been fun. And I hope you guys liked hearing me babble about my work things. And I hope you guys took some knowledge away from this. And yeah, it was fun. Till next time, I'll see you all, everybody.